my God, what is wrong with me? Have I completely lost my muscles in the corona time? This is impossible to die cut. Oh, wait a minute, I'm an idiot. Okay, welcome everyone. Today we're going to be creating 15 different cards using this birthday die from Spellbinders. Okay, I'm going to go through all sorts of tips, techniques on how you can use this, giving you 15 cards plus several ideas on how to create even more cards that look different. Before we go into that though, we're going to talk about the card size. So this is a 3.5 by 8.5 inch die. That means they're slimline. They'll fit into letter size envelopes. So no need to go buy yourself any sort of specialty things. You know, the ones that come, you know, your bills come in, that'll work. And you just need to cut them at 3.5 inches if you're using an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, and you'll get 3 card fronts out of 1 cardstock. Again, using 8.5 by 11 cardstock, if you want to create your card base and a card front, it will be able to cut that out of 1 piece of cardstock, which is pretty cool. Just cut it at 7 inches, move it down to 3.5 and score it. I have a score feature here on my trimmer, and you have your card base all ready to go. And then your leftover piece, just cut that down to 3.5 inches and you'll get your card front. I always work on card fronts because I hate to throw away a card base if I mess up. So I don't mind throwing away a piece of paper like this, but throwing away a whole card base is sad. All right, so a couple of tips when you're going about to die cut this die itself. This is slightly larger than 8.5 inches on the side. So what you need to do is you need to line it up so that if you're going this way, for example, you're going to need to just I just kind of picked it up and tapped it against the table, and it's going to have a couple of millimeters on each side that it sticks out. It's okay because there's a lip in the die, so there's a little bit of a spacer in there. So no worries, it'll still die cut with no issue. However, you cannot die cut in this direction. It's too hard to fit through your machine. And most standard machines, you can't die cut this way. I'm using like the one that's a US letter size die cutting machine. It's got to go this way. It's got to go lengthwise. There's no way to do it another way. And when you do it lengthwise, it's totally fine. And if you have an electronic machine, even better. Okay, so no need for Popeyes, mussels, or you need to eat extra spinach. You'll be able to do it, no problem. Now, I originally thought that this die was going to cut out birthday out of this card panel and I was going to have like one solid piece, but no, it surprised me. You're cutting out all the individual letters, which comes with its own pros and cons, right? Because obviously gluing is going to be a little bit tedious. You got to glue each individual letter, but we'll go through some ideas and tips and tricks on how to do this. I'm going to be creating some rainbow cards first, okay? So the thing is though, is I had all the colors of cardstock except for like a neutral blue. So I grabbed my ink pad and made some blue cardstock. It looks like a complete hot mess right now, but don't worry, when the ink dries and seeps into the paper, it'll be fine. Just wanted to give you a tip. If you don't have rainbow cardstock, you can just use your ink pads. Just be sure you have refills on hand because it does take quite a bit of ink. Same with if you're going to cut patterned paper for this and you only have 6 by 6 like myself, I just taped it onto the die at the halfway point and then added a second piece of cardstock. It works too. You'll be able to do that. So here's some tips and tricks for you. I hope that helps. Now I went maybe a little bit overboard when I was creating these. I created a ton of these die cuts, and the reason being is I want to create a whole bunch of different cards, and this die is too close together. The letters are too close together for me to cut down pieces of cardstock and line them up on each letter and then just die cut them. It's impossible. So do yourself a favor and just die cut the whole word out of each of the cardstock. See what I mean? They're all just bumped up right against each other. It's impossible to cut them individually. Let's talk about how many you also need to cut. So if you're going to do a rainbow order, so Roy G. Biv, I added in a light blue in there because there aren't enough colors. You're going to have to die cut this die 8 times if you want all your letters to be different. Okay, 8 times. It's going to get you 8 cards though, so that's cool. If you want each letter to appear twice in the same type of cardstock, like I have with the glitter there, you're going to have to die cut each of the words out of 4 pieces of cardstock, and you're going to get 4 cards out of it. I think you're getting the picture. 8 times 8 cards. 4 different pieces of cardstock, 4 different cards. If you're going to just alternate your letters, so you're going to have like the B one color, the I one color. Then you're going to start that over again. The R the same color as the first one, then the second one. Color 1, color 2, color 1, color 2. You know what I mean? You're going to need to just cut it twice. It's going to give you 2 cards. And lastly, if you just use 1 piece of pattern paper or 1 piece of solid cardstock, you cut it once, you got a card. And literally you got a card in like 2 minutes. So that's pretty sick. Don't forget, use metallic cardstock, use textured cardstock, use glitter cardstock, use all the cardstock, and you'll get so many different cards out of this. So I created 15 cards today. You can create tons more. Okay, so once you die cut it, you get all of these letters on here. And what's cool about these letters is they really fit into each other. There's like little pieces that are missing in the dies. So if you take a look at that T that's in there, you'll notice in the top left corner of it, it's got that curve. So it lines perfectly with the R, okay? And it's gonna fit perfectly across on your 8.5-inch panel. So there's no need to like measure and try to center anything or anything like that. So it makes it super easy. Now, if I were to die cut this out of one piece of pattern paper, exactly what I have shown here, and I were to just glue it on my card, it would probably take me 2 to 3 minutes to make a card, which is awesome. But you might want to take a couple minutes longer and add some foam tape like I'm doing here. It makes a really big difference, but it's going to add to your time. I want to show you the difference. Here is a card where it's flat, and here is a card where it's got the foam tape. You see that depth and shadow you get? Totally worth it. All right, so if you don't want to glue, if you don't want to add that foam tape and you want to make your life a whole lot easier, grab yourself some double-sided adhesive sheets, okay? I'm using some from scrapbook.com right now, and I like them because it has this brown lip, so it makes it pretty easy to detach the back of the double-sided adhesive, and then just lay your cardstock on top and run it through your die cutting machine. This will ensure that all of your alphabets that you're going to cut out, all of those letters are going to have adhesive already on the back. You just need to peel them off and then they're ready to go. Just wanted to give a quick mention and some shameless advertising for my VIP program. VIPs just got these 2 additional ideas for this die that are absolutely stunning, but those are exclusive for my VIP members. If you'd like to join, the link is in the video description. I'd love to have you. Okay, so showing you here, this is my Roy G. Biv, my red to purple, okay? Switch things up, add some black cardstock on the background. You don't need to watch me glue all these, that would be boring as hell. Okay, so going through, I just start each card, I keep the same order of colors, but I just start with a different color each time. And I find it fascinating how by starting with a different color, they look so different. So I got 8 cards by cutting it out 8 times in 8 different colors. Here, I'm using each letter twice in glitter cardstock. I had to cut these out 4 times. Okay, again, gorgeous on white, gorgeous on black. They look really great. 4 cards out of those. And then I created out of 2 pieces of patterned paper, one on some light pink cardstock and one on some light yellow cardstock. So alternating one after the other. And lastly, my foam beauty here on pink cardstock with 1 piece of pattern paper. If you'd like more ways to use up your pattern paper, come and check out this video here. I have tons of ideas for you. Bye for now.